There we go. So I should have looked when your next class is. I think we're going to be in San Francisco next week, and it kind of throws the schedule off. When I send the notes and video, I'll tell you when the next class is.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. Ting Show really likes your energy.
That's that's good. That's a nice bonus. I did want to say you probably need to go double check your settings for the original audio because it didn't come through. You don't have to do
Didn't
it
come.
now.
It didn't.
Yeah. No, and I was thinking maybe by plugging in the new camera, it's a new mic, it might have been like, oh, I'll just do default settings or something. But you also don't need to um, worry about it now if you don't want to.
Now it's on.
There you go.
I had I don't know why it must have been on, and I turned it off.
I I bet it like defaulted when you put in the new mic. Because like why would I can't imagine you would turn it off for any reason.
Oh, listen, Zoom plays tricks on me all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're constantly changing. I don't know.
No, right. And then like it updates so often. I'm like, are you guys sure your updater doesn't like break all the settings? like,
Right.
like, are you sure? Because it seems like it does.
Ah, well, we're here. So we've had kind of a long break here.
Yeah.
Um, anything come up in your what practice you've been able to do?
No. there has there has been little more than like standing for pots of coffee and practice. So that did not produce any wonderful developments, unfortunately. I did. I um just. I guess I did notice like I. I am like I almost always over rotate the shoulders. Um, I was doing it in the mirror and I was like really looking
Yep.
and I'm like I understand because Bruce had, or you always say that thing about Bruce of like, I could go like a quarter inch or whatever it is, right? A
Yeah.
real small amount. And I was like, yeah, like that's funny. I can do more than that. And if I like real, if I really like look at it and like feel it, no, I can go like boop boop.
Yep.
like that's it. So that's weird to play with, like actually trying to just be like that's all you can do without breaking it, so just do that. um
That's a really important piece, and that's a good, really good awareness. It's good that that alone may be okay for what you've done in the last
yeah.
period, because that's a really important thing to catch.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you break that 4 points, you break the flow of the energy through your torso.
Right.
It doesn't stop it, obviously, but it interrupts it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes it harder to get the energy to go on up to the crown of your head.
Right. Because I mean it, I don't know where all it, because it always feels like for me that like it ends up getting kind of bound up somewhere here, you know.
Uh,
if I over rotate, and like, but I had not noticed that. So I'll that'll be something to look at too.
Did you feel that the energy went higher when you did pay attention to the 4 points?
Um, I guess yes. It felt more just not. It didn't go away.
Yeah.
I could notice the like lack of it, but it didn't. Doing it didn't produce a lot of like clear sensation or anything. It was just like, oh, I can notice when I'm doing it wrong now. It wasn't like, oh, I gained new things.
Yeah.
I so which maybe makes sense, maybe it doesn't. But
Well, that may the new thing may have occurred and you just weren't aware of it yet.
right, right,
But that's really that's a good step.
yeah,
um, so what I'd like to do is start off and just go through what we've done so far, and then uh, begin to introduce the third swing,
okay,
if you're if that's all right for you.
yeah.
So, on that note, so begin stepping out, coming into center in your basic structure, really being aware that you've released the qua, that your perineum is open, and feel your relaxed feet and ankles opening down into the etheric body below your feet, into the earth. Keeping the back of the knees open, the qua open, particularly the midriff. Don't let the midriff collapse. Keep it open. Armpits open. The space at the base of your skull where your spine joins the skull, where your spinal cord flows into your brain. Let that be lifted a little and open. And by way at the crown of your head, open to the universe, to the yang energy above. Endeavoring to release any tension. And first, allowing energy to sink. When energy sinks down, it draws the energy that your body cannot use to drop into the earth, where it is cleansed and recycled. then extending your mind through your body so that you begin to really feel the flow or the lack of it as you scan from the crown of your head. And when you come to a blockage, pause and focus on it. Ice to water, water to gas. Endeavor to get at least a little release, if not a resolution of that blockage. And obviously, this is a process that could take quite a while to actually release all the blockages in one's body. To do what seems appropriate for the day and time. And then let the energy as fully as possible sink on down through the body and flow into cloud hands. And now at each side, there is a release both up and down, and a drawing in, and a release. So now really beginning to establish that flow. Keeping the movements all curved, aware of the sphere that you're working with. Aware of the very subtle shift as you go to the side, the weight drops through the heel, down through Shimian. And as you pass center, both feet are in middle weight. So the weight is towards the heel on one side and towards the toe on the other. Then going into the first swing, completely releasing the arms, completely releasing the arms, allowing them to rise only as far as the energy and the movement takes them. And they can move upward through several stages, but only going about as high in the first swing as the middle of the lower dantian. So they can move up and they can move down. The weight shift on the feet is the same as it was in cloud hands. And there is that subtle rotation of the arms, which is not done muscularly, but with intent and energy. And then as you go into the second swing, stepping back, and now there is that movement, that rotation that lifts the arms a little higher. And so they go up, tapping the kidneys, and eventually up to tapping into the spleen and liver. And they can move back and forth, up and down that area, stimulating those organs, increasing the energy flow through them. And then relaxing, just allowing your body to come to stillness. And flowing into a Taoist spine stretch. Focusing on the posterior side of the spine as you go down, and the anterior as you come up. And as you go down, feeling that release up the spine, the weight should be towards the heels, the body twisting outward. And when you come up, the opposite, of course, is true. The energy moves towards the toes, and the twisting is inward. The focus is on the front of the spine. Feel the front of the spine when you do rise. At your pace. And when you complete closing, so how did that seem to you?
Better than I thought it was gonna go.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Did it raise questions?
Yep, man. I don't remember what it was, so
Okay,
it's okay.
it may come back. Um, I was thinking I will since I am recording this, I'll look at it and see if I have anything I can recommend from what I can see.
Okay.
It's hard to see very much.
Yeah, while you're doing it.
Um, well, on Zoom is not the best place to
No.
always to observe this kind of movement. Uh, were you aware of the weight shift on the feet?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know how much I'd mentioned that before.
Yep.
Okay, so we are going to begin to look at moving towards the third swing. We're going to rush into this because the third swing for most people is much more difficult than the first and second one. And this is because it involves a skill that the first two do not. The third swing is the most difficult of the three swings to do. And each of the three swings has a very specific purpose in the body. Chinese thought about qi and energy says the body is divided into three parts. They call them the three burners. There are other names too, but that's probably the most prevalent one. One goes from your lower dantian down to your feet, and that includes your genitals and the end of your digestive system, your lower spine, and your legs. The middle burner, which we have now done with the second swing, goes from your lower dantian essentially up to your diaphragm, and particularly including the spleen and the liver. But the swing goes from the bottom of your chest all the way out to your fingers and your brain. As a simple point of fact, the basic footwork of the second swing is different than the first. It involves you picking your foot up, turning your waist, and putting your foot down. Picking your foot up, coming to the center, and putting your foot down. The third swing is still going to use the same basic footwork, but it's going to engage the qua the closing of the Kwa and the opening of the Kwa. And the closing of the Kwa is deliberately meant to pull the energy from your fingertips above your head and in your brain down to your feet. And then again, project your energy from your feet through your body and up through your head. Now, many people who've done the third swing get lazy. They figure it's more or less the second one, and so they can throw their arms wherever they want. Well, you can't do that. You just won't, you can do that actually, but you just won't get the benefit from doing the third swing. So we're going to be very, very precise about what wants to be done, especially for students who've done this before. You should look at this. For example, when I do instructor, no, not, when Bruce does instructor trainings in opening the energy gates, the third swing is why the majority of people fail. They don't, Bruce doesn't really know why, to tell you the truth, but that's what happens. So the trick is that your body has to move in a particular way. Your Kwa and your legs have to drive the energy from your feet up your body. The difficult part is that when this occurs, forgetting about how exactly that occurs, we'll do that next, many times people only get their energy, let's say, up to about their chest. But yet they want to throw their arms up in the air, and that doesn't work. The body and your chi moving upwards is moving your hands. Your hands do not move with any independent motion. They are purely moved by your Kwa and your waist. And this is difficult. It's a difficult thing for many people to feel and get, because we live in a culture where everyone picks their arms up independently and they don't have a sense of how energy travels through their body, or their body being an integrated whole. As a matter of fact, about the only people who have really any consideration about that level are athletes who do all sorts of things and are concerned about this. And these are professional athletes. Even amateur athletes don't have this as a major consideration. And those athletes get paid millions of dollars. But you're not going to get paid millions of dollars to do this, of course. So I would just seriously recommend that you pay attention, especially when it says only go so far until you can do A. If you want to go farther to B, then make sure you can do A first. If you do that, you will benefit the most, and you will be short-baiting nobody else by trying to rush about except yourself. So as we begin, we've already learned the basics of the first and the second swings. So I'm going to assume that you really don't have to be shown that again, because you've practiced that already. Now the whole trick here is that your body has an internal momentum, and we're going to start this with an exercise that's done by many people all over China. It's something that's taught especially to senior citizens to get their shoulders to work and their upper body to function well. And it goes like this. So, and you can do this with me. No, David, that's not what you mean to do. So the first thing is to just step out into your basic structure, and you want to first just begin to allow the qua to close and open. Just let it close down and then open up. And as you do that, you want to begin to be aware that this is creating a wave of energy in your body. Now, you can do this at whatever pace feels appropriate to you. And what you're really trying to do is just be aware of how this closing of the qua and the opening of the qua is creating a wave of energy that's moving through your body. And it may not be going very high, it may only be going to your lower dantian, your diaphragm, your chest. You just simply have to open to what that is, what it feels like. So this would be the first exercise. Just simply doing this until you begin to get a sense of the wave of energy that it causes moving through the body. The second stage is letting the qua drop, close and drop, and then bouncing up, because there is a bounce there. So if you let the qua just completely release, the body will bounce back. It's like a ball. When you just completely let go, it goes so far and then it bounces back. And you want to make sure that your knees don't go forward here. Yes, they're bending, but they don't push forward. They just drop and bounce. And that bounce back is pretty quick. There's not a big pause there at the moment. So just close, bounce, close, bounce, close, bounce. You want to really get the sense that the bounce is causing you to move up, causing the chi to move up your body. If you only feel it go as high as your lower dantian, that's fine to begin with. Just let it go as far as it can go. And don't try to push it further. That just blocks your ability to get the benefit of this. Now the second stage of this is to simply allow your hips to move back and forth and to feel that begin to move your arms. So the hips moving forward moves the arms forward, and the hips going back move the arms back. And at this point, you're really beginning to work on keeping the arms completely relaxed. There's no attempt to move the arms themselves. They are solely moved by the hips. And the hips can move them higher if you're relaxed. So just being able to move your arms with the flow of the hips. And then if you combine that with the bounce and rise, you can move the arms even higher so that you begin to get a different movement. And how high they go really depends on how relaxed you are and how well you connect this movement to the arms, so that you're not lifting the arms. They're just being moved by the movement of your body, by the quad and the legs, closing and opening. And just so you're aware of where we're going, for a moment here, I'm just going to do a little of 1 and 2 and then show the third swing. I don't want you to try to do the third swing at this point, just to work through this series of exercises so that you feel comfortable doing all of them, and then we'll add more.
Okay. Huh.
So and so on. So, do you have any questions about any of that?
No. um, no, it actually seemed kind of easy. So either I'm like doing it way wrong, doing it way wrong, or something. I don't know. But yeah, that all how the closing and opening. Um, I didn't feel much of a wave. You know what I mean with just that.
Uh-huh.
But putting the that with the bounce, and I can tell my bounce, um, 1 in every 6 is like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
or like, 'cause- so for the bounce, your knees should not be going in. They shouldn't be moving forward, right? Your knees should be
They shouldn't be moving forward. They're bending, but they're not moving forward.
right, right. But uh, with the arms, it kind of having them have be a pendulum for the timing of everything kind of makes it all like, oh, like that's how you get in the that's how you like it makes it easier to find the wave. It felt like and
Good.
notice it because it's with your dead weight arms.
Yeah.
So
Good.
um, yeah, it was easier than I thought it would be, which
So,
I'm nervous. I'm nervous
so,
about that.
so um, don't not do the first exercise of just
Hmm.
opening and closing the quad.
No, because that one was the hardest one.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm hearing.
right. Um, and yeah, that's the one I could feel like this should be this should be like release the whole way, and it is not. It is not, you know, fluid. It's not a thing that's I'm letting happen. I'm like I'm close. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard um, in that third swing. You feel like you get caught up in wanting to move your arms,
Right.
and so really making yourself when we get to actually going to the full third swing, which um, if you get the rhythm right, it's not. That's really one of the hard parts to catch.
Hmm.
Is how do you make those weight shifts and those leg movements, which are very similar to what you've done in the second swing. They're not exactly the same, but they're
Okay.
almost the same.
Yeah.
But there's a timing difference.
Right.
Um, but we'll come to that.
Okay.
So, any other questions
Nope.
in there? Because that's as far as I really want to take that today.
Okay.
So we can we can really maybe work a bit on the form.
Alrighty. Sounds good.
I looked um, ahead wonderfully sometime when you can come and I can see you in person again. That was a real
I know. Yes, if people stop exploding their hands.
what?
I said if
Oh,
people stop exploding their hands, yeah.
yes. She continuing to do well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really
It's
sorry that happened to her. I mean, it's no.
the therapist is like this is the most common reason why people are ever come see me for like
Really?
glasses like I guess it happens all the time with like waitresses. A glass will just like explode in their hand.
Oh, really?
I that's what she said. You know, I was like, oh,
Wow.
I feel silly. Like these, you know, I'm sitting next to people who like stuck their hand in a fan, the radiator of a tractor, and like, you know, like fell off a motorcycle because they got rear-ended. And she's like, oh, and I just like got hurt on a cup, and so the therapist was like, that's all the time. Everyone's like, um, but
Wow.
yeah, no, she's doing well. Just she can go, like, she can touch her pinky her thumb to her pinky. You know,
Wow.
when she
That's good.
started 2 weeks ago, like going to her finger,
Yeah.
it was hard. She could do it like 1 out of 10 times or whatever.
Wow.
And you know, she started. She could like hardly move her thumb like this way, and now
Yeah.
she can go all the way. You
Yeah.
know, so it's coming back. But
Good. Well, good for boy. Um, thank goodness you got her into a good surgeon.
yeah, yeah, it seems like they did a good job.
That's great. Ah,
Yeah,
what an awful thing to have happen.
yeah, just completely freaking random.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I'm sure she'll never do again whatever she did that caused that.
I she like put a glass on. She like I don't know if she'll ever drink out of a mason jar again. You know,
Ah,
there's a mason jar. But yeah, it's not like she did anything crazy.
ah,
Put a glass. You know, she was like carrying so like I don't know, like she like kind of like half dropped it, but it literally was like she put one down and then it's,
jeez. Ah,
yeah,
ooh.
yeah,
Well, so
yeah. Anyways, all right.
I'm presuming you'd like to flow together to begin with.
That's a good idea, David. Yeah. Yes,
So
I would. That's a good presumption.
I had a feeling it might be the way to start. So, well, we'll see if I can remember this form.
Yeah.
It's just that I do it every week to some degree, but I'm so focused on the other one that it's, um,
Yeah. No, it's a lot.
so begin Tai Chi addressing the earth. So spiral down into the left and step out with the right heel. Rotate rising into Pung. Sink slowly to Jeet, Lu, An. Shift to the left and release. Turn. Shift on to the right. Step forward. Shift forward and twist step into ward off left. Reset the right and rise to ward off right. Release out. Twist in. Roll back. Sink. Turn, sinking back and down, forward and up to press forward. Then push downward and push downward. And sitting back, turn on the right heel, rotate into that right leg, step back with the left, and shift. Extend. Twist step, closing and then opening to single whip. Turn on the left heel, then the right toe, drop the right, and lift hand. Turn. Up, high pat. Turn and draw back. Step and brush knee. Shift forward, reset. Sit back, play peepaw. Draw in and step. Brush knee. Shift back and turn. Step and brush knee right. Back and turn. step, brush knee left, shift forward, just and sit back, open to play peepaw, and draw in, step to brush knee, sitting back, shift on to the left, kick, elbow, back fist, step forward, empty, and punch, withdraw, and push downward, and sit back and turn. Rotate rising to cross hands, release, turn right, turn on the left toe and sit back, draw in and step to the rear corner, turn tiger to the mountain, back and down, ward off right, roll back, sink, and press forward and push downward. Sitting back, turn, single whip to the front corner, expand out, step, shift, and twist step. Sitting back, turn the left leg, shift onto it and step forward with the right. Keep rotating to sweep across. Shift on to the right. Turn and open to punch. Turn back and repulse monkey. Draw in and step, repulse. Draw in and step, repulse. Draw in and step forward, shift and twist step to diagonal flying. Continue on to the left, reset, sit back and lift hand, turn, high pat, and back, step, brush knee, shift forward, forming the sword fingers, arms bending in all the way to the top and then extending out all the way to pull down. Rise to base and shift forward, turn, fan through the back, turn, step and back fist, rotating left, pull down, draw in and kick, elbow, back fist, shift and step, forward and punch, back, turn, twisting in, and then up to ward off right, and roll back, sink, press forward, push downward, then turning, step around, and another single whip, wave hands, turn on the left heel, the right heel, and stepping in, turn the ball, stepping out, turn the ball, stepping in, turn the ball, stepping out, turn the ball, and then step forward, step back, single whip, up and back, and then draw in, step, and ward off left, shift onto the left and kick with the right, and step to ward off right. Shift in and kick with the left. And reset the right foot, spin around, and kick with the right, and step forward, and brush knee. Sit back, turn, another brush knee. Sit back and turn, step forward, shift, sink, rotating to push down and punch. And then rise, turning back, turn, back fist. Pull down again through an S curve, in and kick, elbow, back fist, step, shift forward, and punch. Back, turn. Shift onto the left and kick with the right heel and push left to right, releasing the left, shift, step forward, push, turn on the right toe, step around, keep turning to place the right and shift, then back, draw in, kick with the right heel, then double wind to the ears, and back, reset the right, kick with the left heel, back and spin on the right toe, kick with the right heel, and then step forward, punch, and withdraw, and push downward. Sit back and turn, and up to cross hands, and release. And that's the end of the second paragraph. Where do you need to work?
Pretty much everything. After Cloud Hands, probably.
After cloud. Okay. You feel
I mean, to be honest, right?
yeah, no, that's fine.
That whole section, I'm like, I recognize some of these things.
That's a good start.
Yeah, that's a good start. Particularly around after what is the posture where you're like punching the ground?
Punch down.
Shoot, you could have guessed that. I think after punch down, it's that's the muddiest spot of like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, that's so after wave hands, um, we go in. We go to single whip, and then into the those ward off left and kick, and ward off right and kick.
Right. That's a little so like that made I was like, okay, I kind of knew where I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, you turn to the other side. You go into back fist, and then the brushed knees and the punch down.
That part. So I was like, okay, like I kind of recognize the sequence, right? Going from one to the next. I think I was like, okay,
Okay.
we got here somehow, and then I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna put it down.
Well, that sounds like a good place to start.
Yeah, it could be for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, the ward off left and kick and the ward off right and kick. Um, we can we can come back to that later on.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not.
No, those so a lot of it is just like the sequence, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like trying to just literally just like what do I do next?
yeah,
Um, and then at the end it was like the posture with your two fists, one up and lower.
yeah.
That sequence I'm like very hazy on. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the thing we do. Like
I
those
think
postures I'm hazy on. The rest I'm just like, what order does it go?
yeah, we've looked at that a couple of times, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, after you've done that second kick, we shift back and we spin on the right toe and come onto the left foot on an angle so that we can kick with the right heel and then go into brush knee left and sit back and brush knee right and back. And then the step is the same, but the thing here is that as you shift to your dynamic limit, you're sinking. And then as you rotate, you're continuing to go down, pushing with the left hand, and then following that with a punch straight down. But making sure that that left knee doesn't go forward. It stays at your dynamic limit. And then as you come up, you begin to turn. And you're going to bring that fist up. And in effect, what you're doing here is hiding that fist as you come up and step around. And as you go into that left foot, that begins to raise the right fist and to sink the left hand. And then as you rotate and step the right foot empty forward, you can shift forward into the back fist. And at the same time, the left hand is pushing down, controlling the other arm. And then we have deflect, intercept, and punch, which begins with that movement from the 8 gates single arm movement, where you have a single rotation back, but an S-curve movement of the right arm twisting down. And then that draws the leg in. The leg comes up with the arm, kick. As you shift forward, you extend the elbow and open the right palm into the elbow strike. Just rotate to back fist again. And then this draws down as you step forward, winding up to shift forward and punch. So do you have questions through there?
I don't know. I mean, I don't. I just gotta practice it a lot so I can remember the sequence, but that all made sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe we should go through it once more.
that could help.
I thought it might.
Yeah.
So, did that kick, step back, around. I think I said the wrong thing before. I said kick with the right. We kick with the left.
Okay.
So we kick, draw that back in, step and brush knee, back and turn, and another brush knee, back, turn, shift, step, sink going forward, keep going down as you push and then punch, rise, turning, and the fist is going up and the elbow is going down as you come around and step, back fist. Rotate through the S curve, draw in and up, kick, shift to elbow strike, turn to back fist, shift onto the right and rotate through to an empty step, shift forward and punch. Any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. So yeah, this next section is a little counterintuitive.
Okay.
So you come back and turn that left foot and shift onto it, and you're coming in ready for a kick with the right heel straight to the side. But the tricky part is that you kick and then you turn at the quad to the left as you put the foot down parallel to the left foot.
Okay, yeah.
Still weighted on that left. And you've closed a little. And as you rotate and shift, there's a slight rise and sink. And this is a push that does this.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, but it shows up in the Wu style too. The push. And as you're doing that, you're going to 100% on the right foot. So that's not a shift to 60%, but a shift to 100% so that you simply open that right quad, which resets the left foot and turns the hands to embrace the moon. And then as you shift, the hands begin to separate. And when you come to your dynamic limit, you do the twist step into subdued tiger. And the upper fist is at upper dantian level, and lower one at lower dantian level. And then you shift forward, and notice that there's no rotation on that shift. Nothing turns, but things fold. And then as you rotate left to bring that right foot parallel, that turns the arms. So they can do another push actually you're heading towards the right, but what happens is that you turn on the right toe and then step around with the left foot and then step to the corner, the front corner, left front corner, and shift and go into the opposite subdued tiger. That's a pretty tricky area, I know.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific questions in there?
No, I don't think so. It's almost entirely just sequence. Everything makes sense, and generally I feel like I know what I'm trying to do in the postures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just I just get to one and I'm like, yeah, there's more here. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, that definitely cleared it up there for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
that is I think perhaps a really tricky area.
yeah.
Always found it that way anyway.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So let's go through that again.
Okay.
Um, we can start from the punch down.
Sure.
Um, do you understand that movement as you go into deflect, intercept, and punch?
Maybe just show it because now that you've said it.
Because our tendency is to add something to this. So the
Oh.
you're only going to be turning to the left, but the arm is, and I'm going to stay straight here for a moment. The arm is actually going to go across the center line of the body and keep rotating down, drawing an S curve through the middle. So notice that my arm is not only continuously rotating, but it's continuously sinking as it goes down. The thing that throws us all off here is that the body only turns left while you do that. And you're coming back to 100% on the left foot. So one of the things is to be sure that when you get to back fist, that you've fully rotated forward, because if you stop short of that, you lose part of your rotation back, which makes it harder.
Yeah.
So if you're fully forward, then you can go back through this, and then here you've come to 100% on the left foot, and that's when you then continue to draw in and up and go into the back, the kick and elbow and blah blah.
Okay.
So that's just a little difficult coordination for us sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that
So
makes sense.
if we start with punch down, then we come back, step around, and step back fist. Here's where we do that weird S curve, turning left, coming back and in, up, kick, elbow, back fist, step, shift forward, punch. Sit back, bending in, turn the left leg, shift on to it, kick with the right heel to the side and turn left, and push left to right, 100% on the right foot, turn and step, shift to your dynamic limit, and turn to subdue tiger. Step forward, turning left, push, turn on the left toe, right toe, step around with the right foot, step forward, that was the left, turn with, step forward with the right, and shift to the opposite, subdue tiger. Question?
No, I just need to do it like 100 times.
Right.
That's
You
it.
have the answer.
So.
It's called practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm inclined to stop there.
Yeah, I would not remember anything you added.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll worry about the ending, last part of it. It's not that hard.
Okay. That's good.
Oop, that isn't what I meant. How did I do that? I don't even know where I am.
Oh no.
Where am I?
At
Ah,
a computer. I know that much.
yes, trying to confuse everybody. Easy to do. There we go. Almost. That's what I meant to do.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
So, practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In between being the alone person, adult with two hands. Yeah.
Well,
But she's able to do a lot more now.
I'll
So,
bet. Yeah.
you know,
And it'll keep getting better.
right. Yeah.
I'm sure it's been a tough time when she couldn't do much.
Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully I hadn't done anything at work, so I just took 3 weeks and that made it easier, but still a lot.
Yeah. And so you have work to catch up with too.
Yeah, thankfully it was such a long time that they couldn't wait on the work and they had to give it to other people. So,
Aha.
yeah, I actually came back and was just like, oh, like what are we doing? So, that was nice.
Well, good. I'll
Yeah.
bet everybody else will be glad to have you back.
Yeah. Well, excuse me. But it
Well,
is what it is.
what?
I said it is what it is.
Yes, it is. So give our best to everybody, and
Yeah.
we thank you so much for your help with the camera the other day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really appreciated that. The new Logitech, I just plugged it in and it was working. So
Awesome. Yeah. I I've had the same thing, and I don't even have like a Vast or anything like that, right? You know, auto whatever.
yeah.
Where like webcam fine, next day like just doesn't like it's not it doesn't even exist. You know,
Okay.
you plug it in, it doesn't like badink, badonk, and then I go to another computer and it works fine. And I'm like, what the fuck? What changed?
I don't know.
It drives
That
me crazy. Like I didn't do anything. Like
yeah. That really is that is crazy.
yeah,
Um, so well, as you said, it is what it is.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, any other trouble? You know that team viewer or whatever it is super helpful, right? I can
Yeah,
just
that really
hop
works
on.
well. You that seems to yeah, that's great. So
Yeah, yeah, anytime for anything.
well,
Well, maybe not anytime, but
no, you're busy. I only would call you when I have an emergency.
that's all right. Even if it's just an annoying thing, but yeah, yeah,
Thanks, Andrew. I really
yeah,
appreciate it. You take care,
absolutely. You
and
too.
I'll let you know the exact date of the next one.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
Nice talking. Nice seeing you.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Look forward to seeing you in person.
And yeah, yep. I know. I
That
know.
will happen.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will happen.
Oh yeah. One of these years. All right. Bye.
Bye.